The Australian economy has traditionally been known as a prosperous yet sparsely populated country that faces natural disasters. It has heavily relied on agriculture, particularly the wool industry and foreign investments. This depiction accurately portrayed the country's economic landscape during its early years of European settlement. Agriculture expanded to include wheat, beef, lamb, dairy products, and irrigated crops, solidifying its importance. In this video, we will discuss Australian economy. But before we start, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay connected. Let's get started. As the decline of manufacturing became evident in the final decades of the 20th century, other facets of this entrenched reliance were revealed. However, foreign interests have predominantly exerted dominance over the economy, with the United Kingdom, United States, and Japan initially, and more recently, large multinational corporations playing influential roles. Australia's total sheep population peaked in 1970, dropping by about one-third at the beginning of the 21st century. Nonetheless, Australia remains the world's leading producer of wool, regularly supplying nearly one-third of the global total. This, despite a collapse in world prices that caused production to fall steeply during the 1990s. Concurrently, there was a precipitous drop in sheep farming's proportion of total agricultural revenues. By contrast, Australia's grain and combined grain and livestock production held stable at about 2/5 of agricultural turnover. Australia's agricultural landscape. The peak of Australia's sheep population was reached in 1970, after which it declined by approximately one-third by the beginning of the 21st century. Nevertheless, Australia continues to maintain its position as the world's leading producer of wool, consistently supplying nearly one-third of the global total. Simultaneously, there was a notable decline in the proportion of agricultural revenues derived from sheep farming. In contrast, the production of grain, as well as combined grain and livestock, remained relatively stable, accounting for approximately 2/5 of the agricultural turnover. During the early 1950s, agricultural production contributed between 1/6 and 1/5 of the country's gross domestic product, GDP. However, by the beginning of the 21st century, this proportion had dwindled to less than 5%. Forestry and fishing. As the 21st century commenced, official estimates, which stirred controversy, indicated that approximately 1/5 of Australia's land area was covered by native forests. Notably, almost one-third of this forested land was privately owned. However, a significant portion of privately owned native forests does not undergo active management for wood production. Approximately 1/5 of the total forested area is actively managed for wood production. Power and resources. Hydroelectric generation in Australia faces limitations due to the highly variable volumes of rivers and predominantly flat topography. An exception is Tasmania, where the economy has been built around hydropower by capitalizing on the island state's rugged terrain and ample water reserves. On the mainland, several major multiple-purpose dams have been constructed. Queensland's Burdekin Falls Dam is another significant hydroelectric infrastructure project on the mainland. Minerals and mining. The Australian mining industry plays a crucial role in the country's economy, although its contribution is relatively small in terms of overall GDP. However, several concerns surround this sector, including significant levels of foreign ownership and control, adverse environmental impacts, rapid extraction rates that may deplete reserves, and the widespread but not universal neglect of basic pre-shipment processing within Australia. Notably, growing concerns regarding the burning of fossil fuels and the resulting greenhouse gas emissions, such as carbon dioxide, have led to increased opposition to the coal industry. The mining industry typically relies on bulk loading and specialized shipping facilities, employing advanced extraction methods in line with international standards. Raw material exports. In addition to minerals, Australia exports a range of raw materials essential for various industries. The agricultural sector, for instance, plays a crucial role in the country's exports, with products like wheat, barley, beef, lamb, and dairy being major contributors. Australia's pristine environment and advanced agricultural practices ensure high-quality produce, which is sought after globally. Trading partners. Australia's economic success heavily relies on its trading partnerships. The country has strong economic ties with several nations, including China, Japan, South Korea, and the United States. China is Australia's largest trading partner, particularly for resources and raw materials. The demand from these countries for Australian commodities has fueled the nation's economic growth and export revenues. Finance. The issuance of the Australian dollar, the country's currency, coins are issued by the Royal Australian Mint, is under the purview of the Reserve Bank of Australia, Australia's central bank. The bank is mandated with statutory functions that require it to implement monetary policy aimed at regulating the economy through the banking system. Its objectives include maintaining currency stability, promoting full employment, and fostering economic prosperity and the welfare of the Australian people. Consequently, when decisions are made to curb inflationary pressures, the general banking system typically bears the responsibility of implementing monetary and credit restraints. Services. While the manufacturing sector experienced a decline, certain traditional services such as transportation and retailing demonstrated a relatively higher level of resilience until the economic recession deepened towards the late 1980s. However, over the longer term, significant growth has been observed in various sectors, including education, finance, government services, insurance, communications, healthcare, welfare, property and business services, including legal services, as well as tourism and recreation. The housing and construction industry also plays a substantial role as a major employer during boom times, with its fortunes closely tied to the state of the economy. In total, the services sector, encompassing finance, transportation, and trade, contributes approximately 4/5 of Australia's GDP and employs over 3/4 of the labor force. Australia's growing economy, driven by its resource exports and diverse industries, positions it as a global economic powerhouse. The country's abundance of natural resources, particularly minerals and raw materials, has fueled economic growth and attracted investments. As Australia continues to diversify its economy and explore new avenues for growth, it is well positioned to thrive in an ever-changing global economic landscape. By leveraging its strengths, fostering innovation, and maintaining strong trade relationships, Australia's economic future looks promising. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. We will meet you soon in a new video. Until then, stay happy and take care of yourself.